Hello, fellow risk takers, and welcome to my worst investment ever. Stories of loss to keep you winning. In our community, we know that to win in investing, you must take risk, but to win big, you've got to reduce it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm on a mission to help 1 million people reduce risk in their lives. To reduce risk in your life, go to myworstinvestmentever.com today and take the risk reduction assessment I created from the lessons I've learned from more than 500 guests. Fellow risk takers, this is your worst podcast host, Andrew Stotts from A Stotts Academy, and I'm here with featured guests Vishal Bhardwaj. Vishal, are you ready to join the mission?
I am absolutely ready and thrilled to have you here to be with you, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm excited to. You said something when we before we turned on the microphone that I just thought was really interesting, and maybe you could say it about how most people were contacting you about talking about your successes. And when you saw
Yeah.
this, how did you feel?
So when I saw, the name of your podcast, I was thrilled. I first thought it's just a clickbait, but then I went into it and it's reality. So yeah, most of the people talk to me about what are the great things that I've learned, what are the great things that I have done in my career. But I think the most important thing is what are the bad things that I've done in my career, what are the mistakes that I have done, so that you don't do it when you are listening to me. It's my responsibility that you don't fall in the same trap that I have done.
Mm.
So it's a beautiful concept, Andrew.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Vishal, because there's a lot of people that don't like coming on my podcast.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, there's plenty. I always say that my favorite response was uh, interesting idea, not my style.
Oh, really?
Oh,
That
yeah.
that's for me. It was wonderful when I got your first email, Andrew. I think I was thrilled. So even more than being anywhere else that I have been since last 3 4 years, I think your show is one of the most interesting that I've ever been to.
Wow, that's exciting. Well, I'm flattered, and I know the audience is excited to learn more about you. So let me introduce you to the audience. Vishal Bhardwaj is a serial entrepreneur and founder of Predictions for Success, engineered by mistake, and passionate management services. He loves to inspire students and aspiring entrepreneurs. Vishal has spoken at many forums, including TED Talks, TCS, Money Control, Backstage, and many others. So, Vishal, please tell us, what is the value that you bring to this world?
To be honest, Andrew, I'm here to re-engineer the spirituality. I think we have so much great things in our, wisdoms that our forefathers have left for us, and we are forgetting those values. And I think it is time that we go back to those values and learn and relearn those things, so that a lot of great humanity can be survived for a longer time in this planet. And this is my mission for this life.
That is fascinating. I my father passed away about 6 years ago, and I brought my mother to live in Thailand, and she was on all kinds of medicines coming from the U.S. and was in a bad state with a stroke. And I slowly was able to learn about, uh, the power of nutrition and the power of various foods.
Hmm.
And then from that, I was able to start to bring those into her life. And I learned something, for instance, like beetroot, as an example,
Hmm.
really can lower blood pressure. And so I started
Exactly.
monitoring that and understanding that. And then you realize, of course, there's plenty of pharmaceutical drugs that actually derive from originally from plants and all that. And then you start to realize that in some ways, I feel like we have lost touch with
Exactly.
the roots. And I think, from my perspective in Thailand, I
Mhm.
get a little closer to that than I would have been in America. But I suspect in India, you're even closer to the potential roots of traditional ways of thinking and living. And I'm just curious, like, tell us a little bit more about what you're doing, and particularly also about your business. And, it's an interesting, predictions for success and stuff. So tell us a little bit more before we get into the question.
So great. So Andrew, Prediction for Success is a company that is aimed to re-engineer the spirituality. This is the aim that I and my wife had. And we are bringing a lot of subjection to it. We are working upon Ayurveda, we are working upon yoga, we are working upon meditation. We are taking up a lot of good advices from you can say Chanakya Niti. This is a book for the professionals. So we are combining astrology, numerology, Vastu Shastra, Feng Shui. So we are going each and every corner of the world to find out what is worth to be here in this particular generation. So we for this generation we need to remodel those Vedic wisdoms so that they bring a value for the current generation.
Mm,
So this is what we
interesting.
are doing. And as you said, Andrew, about the Ayurveda, India is the home of Ayurveda, and there are a lot of things that can do so much of magic in terms of your body that allopathy cannot even think of. So those are the things that need to be taken a little bit ahead, because they do not have any kind of side effects. They can, this is not just for the body but for the soul. Because right now I think we are in such a chaos world that everything is scattered around us, and we are so busy in our professional life. We want something that gives us a value, that gives us an aim of life, that brings a balance between professional and a personal life. And that is what Prediction for Success tried to do.
That's fascinating. I've recently been working on creating a habit, a morning routine of I have to keep it simple because my mind gets a little complicated. I want to make it a morning routine that I'll do. So I'm now about a month or two into three sun salutation A's and two sun salutation B's, and
Oh,
just
that's
very slow. I've
mhm,
had a yoga teacher that's come each morning to help me to get
mhm,
the posture right, and I just try
mhm,
not to rush it because I have
mhm,
had back pain and
mhm,
other things. So I feel like this is the thing. I do a lot of other stuff. I walk at the park and I go to the
mhm,
gym, but
mhm,
this is the one thing I feel like if I incorporate this yoga activity as a start, just this, and
mhm,
then I can expand it into a standing series, which I do often with her, but that
mhm.
it's something that I can do for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm really
it's a
excited about.
lifestyle. It's not an exercise, it's actually a lifestyle. So Surya Namaskar is a lifestyle, and a lot of people, millions and millions of people, are taking benefits from things like Surya Namaskar. There are a lot of other things, Andrew, that even small things that have been written in our Vedas, that can take you to the another level of spiritualization. So which is way ahead of religion. So religion is a very small part of spirituality.
Interesting. That's fascinating. The other thing I was thinking about when you were talking is that somebody listening to this will, oh, but wait a minute, we have all these modern inventions and we have all this modern stuff. Like, for instance, the iPhone. Look at this, it's got the world in my hand. But what people often miss is the downside or the negative effects of that. And just 5 years ago, if you went on a SkyTrain ride in Bangkok, Thailand, you would be looking into the face of other people. Now, you go on a SkyTrain ride, you're going to see two things. Everybody's got a mask on their face, number one. So you no
Mhm,
longer see the smile,
mhm,
gone.
mhm.
Number two, they are all sucked into their mobile phone.
Screens.
100%.
Yeah.
100% of the people on the SkyTrain. And that
Mhm,
was just 5 years ago. It wasn't like that. And then I
mhm.
think about, okay, there's some cool things about it, but there's got to be some real negative downsides to it.
Yeah, the virtualization of the world, where we are connected with everybody, but we are actually very alone in ourselves. So we don't even have people to talk to. We don't even have real friends right now. Even our families are the people that we usually, if even if we talk about 10 years back, we were talking with them. We were always in a communication with them. But right now, it is very very low. Even the communication has diminished. The family values has gone to the lowest level ever we have seen. So
Mm,
these are the side effects of being too modern, I think.
yeah. And I just want to share a little exercise for the listeners out there that I've recently done. And I found it to be very valuable. And that is, I've gone through my list of contacts that I have on my phone and in my email box. And it's a lot. I mean, I have a 30-year career. So we're talking about 15,000 people that I've met and kept contact with in one way or another. But I decided I would focus in on what I call my IC, inner circle. And I thought about the people that I really do enjoy talking to and I want to get closer to. And I came up with about 30 people. And I thought, these are the people I really want to, I miss talking with them and that type of
Mhm,
thing. And then I set a goal every week. I would reach out to them and I would try to send them a link and ask them, hey, could we arrange a call
Mm-hmm.
just to talk?
Mm-hmm.
And amazingly, almost every single one of them have said, absolutely. They've booked a time. We've got on a video call.
You are
No,
blessed.
no
You are blessed, Andrew.
expectations, nothing. And even one of my friends that we got to know each other through
Mm-hmm.
a course that we took together,
Mm-hmm.
he's the chairman of a big business here in Thailand. And we said, let's have lunch together on Zoom. And so we got together, and I was at the kitchen table with the
Mm-hmm.
phone
Mm-hmm.
up, and he was in his office eating, and we just had a great hour together. So I challenge everybody
Mm-hmm.
to take what Vishal's saying about, we're losing some connection, and people are alone, and we are lonely. And so reach out. Do it today. Identify one person that you miss talking to. Send
Correct.
a message to them. I'd love to talk to you. I miss talking. Let's do a video call. That's my
Yeah.
challenge for today.
Conversations should not have an agenda always. So we are so fascinated with the word agenda that everything has an agenda right now. So let's live without agenda sometimes.
Yeah, and then amazing things happen from those conversations. It's like,
Exactly.
okay, what are you working on? Tell me what you're doing. Oh, maybe I can help you with that, or I can, and all of a sudden, it's a very different feel. Well,
Wow.
that's a great intro to you and what you're doing, and now it's time to share your worst investment ever. And since no one goes into their worst investment thinking it will be, tell us a bit about the circumstances leading up to it, and then tell us your story.
Great. I started Prediction for Success in 2014, and after that, we started growing our audience. We got around say 100,000 followers and different type of social media, and we were just trying to leverage everything. We were thinking like whatever we will touch will turn into gold because we now have an audience. People are loving what we are doing. So why don't we sell something? And I talked with one of my partners, and we were very excited. So we were just playing Xbox in the night. It was midnight, and we were talking, and he said to me that, okay, so Diwali is a very famous festival here in India, and it was coming. It was just, I think, 15 days after the Diwali was there. So I thought like, let's do something for Diwali. So why don't we do some corporate gifting for Diwali? And we talked, and everything clicked so well. Everything was looking so easy at that particular moment. We thought it would be very easy cake for us to sell anything because we already have an audience. People love us. I think if we will offer them anything, it would be an easy sell. And in the next day we went to shop things. We were having no idea. We didn't do any kind of research on what kind of people, what kind of thing people want, what kind of corporate these budgets they have. So we simply thought like having something in the range of say $10 would be easy to crack. And we went to the market. We purchased a couple of samples. So this was the first moment. Then when I thought like, rather than purchasing everything at a wholesale rate, let's purchase something a little bit pricey, but as a sample, so that in case it didn't get sold, we don't have a lot of inventory to be sitting at our heads. So although my this partner was very against it, he said that why we are purchasing these on a higher price when we can purchase in a lower price if we get it in quantity. And I said to him that no, let's not talk about let's forget about profits. Let's try to learn something first. And we took you can say we invested around 100,000 rupees there, and we purchased all those products, and we came to home, and it was already 3 to 4 days. Then we had the professional shoot for it. We paid for the professional shoot. It was exciting till then, but then came the blunder. We talked to the companies and we asked them, would you be interested to purchase? And they told us the prices that even we were not getting. So we thought like, how you are getting those prices at for these products? And they told us that we have some vendors already set, and they have purchased in such a bulk quantity that even if we half the prices that we are already offering, it will still be a loss for them. And my god, that was something that hit us so hard. And to be honest, Andrew, it took us 3 years to we could not even sell one single product. We have to give those products as a gift to our customers for the next 3 years. And I still have a couple of them lying around in my backyard, and I still give them as a gift for birthdays and parties and festivals. And the most important thing that I lost in it was the feel. Because see, it was my family never had any kind of entrepreneur in their family, so we never had any kind of a person who do business, especially who sell things. So I was the first one, and when I failed, and I failed so badly, it really, disheartened me. It was a heartbreak, to be honest, Andrew. And I thought, like, I think selling is not my point. I think I won't be able to sell anything. And to be honest, till now, till date, I haven't been into any kind of corporate gifting. Whenever I hear the word corporate gifting, I run away. I simply run away. For me, I can do anything. I can go to moon and sell the land there, but I cannot do corporate gifting. I think this is something that I learned from my mistake. We lost a lot of money in there.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, I think it was the worst investment that I have ever been to. And it was not just the money, but I think I lost that kind of a confidence in me to sell something as something tangible. So we are now into service industry, and
Mm.
I always fear when I go to the product form.
And was there a particular day that you can remember where you kind of realized this isn't going to work?
Yeah, so after the photo shoot and when the website was ready, it was just 3 days before Diwali, and I started calling up every friend that I know in the corporate world. Started calling up HRs, the CFOs, the CEOs, and I told them, you know me, and you should take something from me. And they all they said that we have already purchased it 1 month ago. I think you are already late by 1 month. Oh my God, Andrew. You can trust me. I called at least say 200 to 50 people that day. I called, and my partner called around the same numbers, and we couldn't even sell one single product.
And that's when you started realizing. Uh,
That's when we thought of what we will do with these products now.
yeah, and exactly. It's going to become furniture. So
Yeah.
let me ask you, what lessons, how would you summarize the lessons that you learned from this?
So yeah, I think I can summarize in 3 points. So one is that never start in hurry and do proper research before jumping into anything. Emotions can overwhelm you, but do not let the emotions runs the business for you. The second thing is having an audience and having a customer who will purchase are two very different stages. So these are not equal. So you may have a lot of good audience, but
Mm.
those may not the people who will purchase anything that you brought on the table. And the third thing I think is timing of launch is as important as pricing of your product. So we were although having a very competitive pricing, but our timing was so wrong. It was so wrong that we couldn't even compete with our competitors.
Wow. So emotion and the understanding your audience and timing. Maybe I'll share what I took away from it. I mean, one of the things is I remember somebody told me this, and I learned it myself also because I thought in the beginning of business you hire PR people to get your name out there.
Mhm.
And somebody said it, and it just smacked me in the face. They said PR doesn't equal revenue,
Mhm.
and it's a little bit like an audience doesn't equal revenue. If
Correct.
they're not there to buy from you, if they're not there for that, then if you go offering to that,
Mhm.
you're kind of hurting the relationship in some way. And
Yeah.
I think, it also makes me think about this podcast. Sometimes I feel a little bit down that I didn't make a podcast like I think a good example of a great podcast is Amy Porterfield's Digital Course Academy and
Mhm.
Digital Courses Made Easy. She's talking all about digital courses, and she has a Digital Course Academy. It's a complete alignment. My
Mhm.
worst investment ever. I came up with this idea. It was so far out that I didn't have a product related to it. And
Mhm.
therefore, I've tried to like align products with it, but I kind of come to the conclusion that there's just some things that you do for building an audience, but that audience isn't necessarily there to buy. They're there for the experience. And so
Exactly.
when I think about my audience, and that's you to the listeners and the viewers out there, I think about someone that I'm sharing a conversation with, that you're joining into this conversation. So that's kind of something that I've come to some conclusion on, that just enjoy that relationship that we're
Enjoy the
building. So that's
relationship.
the first thing. The second thing is you remind me of episode 28, a long, long time ago. And the guy that spoke was the guy named Brandon Gailey. And Brandon Gailey is a great, he's the blog millionaire, is what he's called. But he had a similar situation, and he said that he says even to this day, Andrew, I had still have some of these boxes left that I bought in my garage. So for everyone out there, Start slow,
Mhm.
think carefully, test the market, you know, test the response before you act. So many times we get into kind of an excitement and then we act before we test. So my
Correct.
final thing I take away is test before you act. So Vishal, is there anything else you would add to that?
I think that's completely summarized that, Andrew. And I will think, I will further, if you want, then it would be, don't let emotions run your business.
Yeah. Don't let emotions run your business. That's great. Now, that kind of leads into the next question, which is, what one action would you recommend our listeners take to avoid letting emotions run your business? Give us some action. Like, what should we do when we're in that moment and we're having that? As Michael Gerber says in the E-Myth, he says the entrepreneurial seizure. We're just so excited. This is the best idea. What one action could we take to avoid suffering the same fate?
Sure. So, and you see, after my this incident, it has been a couple of years now, and I have invested in two more companies after it. And I think what I did good in those was I didn't let my emotions run. What I do, I get to hear a lot of great ideas. Sometimes few ideas even click me, like these are unicorn ideas. These could be the biggest in the world. But what I do is I wait for 7 days. So if my emotions are up for the 7 days as it was on the first day, I think it is a good to go. And if it is decreasing day by day, I think I need more time.
Ah, fantastic advice there, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not just with an idea. It's also, I find that applying something like that, even just overnight, thinking about it. Imagine that you're writing a blog or you're writing something and then you finish it at night, go to bed. Before you publish it, read it, print it out, sit down and read it. And when you revisit something, you're
Mhm.
visiting from a different emotional state. You may be able
Exactly.
to put yourself into the shoes of your clients and your audience and your followers. And boy, it's amazing. Sometimes you look at something and think, wait, what was I thinking?
Yeah, exactly.
So that just is evidence of how excited that we can get and we overlook so much. So let me ask you the next question, which is, what's a resource that you'd recommend for our listeners?
I think you should start you reading Bhagavad Gita. This is the book that I read, and this is the book that I will recommend to everyone. So this is not about religion. This is something to be going inside of you. So if you want to, learn about the world, first try to learn about the world within you. So once you learn the world within you, you will be easily able to learn the world outside of. So Bhagavad Gita has helped me a lot in this. And if you are looking for any kind of a guidance in terms of your personal or professional life, if you are stuck, if you don't know where to go ahead, you can connect to predictionsforsuccess.com, and we and my team would be love to help you and hear you out and try to take you away from the problems that you are facing right now in the world.
That's great. And I'm going to have a link in the show notes. I'm looking at a lot of different interpretations here on Amazon. So I'm going to just include some links in the show notes. But let me just ask about your website and what you're doing. What should people what do they get when they go to your website? What are they going to feel or see or experience? What's there for them?
So we have different kind of services, Andrew. We have astrology services, we have numerology, we have vastu, we even have relationship counseling and career counseling. So if you are going through a trouble patch in terms of your relationship, we can guide you and your partner to come on the same front. We use the Vedic wisdom and combine it with psychology to come up with a solution that is just tailor made for you. So this is a guidance that can change the things for you very quickly. We give remedies which are written in our old Vedas. These are Vedas that have been coming from, say, 10,000 years ago. So
Mm.
those kind of knowledge we have incorporated in our our courses. So we even provide courses on that. So these are a lot of things. If you go, and I think you will see a lot of things to explore there, Andrew.
Exciting. Well, I'll have the links to that in the show notes. So, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. All right, last question. What is your number one goal for the next 12 months?
I want to re-engineer the spirituality for 1 billion people.
Fantastic. That's exciting. Well, we're both on a mission, and I love your mission about spirituality. That's exciting. Well, listeners, there you have it, another story of loss to keep you winning. If you haven't yet taken the risk reduction assessment, I challenge you to go to myworstinvestmentever.com right now and start building wealth the easy way by reducing risk. As we conclude, Vishal, I want to thank you again for joining our mission. And on behalf of A Stotts Academy, I hereby award you alumni status for turning your worst investment ever into your best teaching moment. Do you have any parting words for the audience?
Thank you so much, Andrew. It was pleasure talking to you. You are a great soul, man, and I think the audience love to hear. And I will be your number one fan.
All right. Well, we appreciate that. I appreciate that. And my mom and you are going to be my number one fans tied. So I appreciate it. And that's a wrap on another great story to help us create, grow, and protect our wealth. Fellow risk takers, this is your worst podcast host, Andrew Stott, saying thank you for joining our mission. And I'll see you on the upside.